Have you ever played an Assassin's Creed game and thought, well, I would like this thing to be better? I certainly have thought about that. And sometimes you just have that itch to, see the games that you like have these things, right? So I'm gonna be talking about the top 5 things that I think could significantly improve the quality of any Assassin's Creed game. A lot of these things were actually good in some of the games, but they were removed in the other or not that consistent. So I'm gonna be talking about that as well. But before, I would appreciate a like on this video and feel free to subscribe to this channel for similar content. I already have a lot of videos like these. Anyway, let's start with the first one, and that is better mocap movements. If you guys have ever played the recent Assassin's Creed games, these things kind of look absent, to be honest. The best way you can compare this is by actually playing Assassin's Creed Unity or Assassin's Creed Syndicate and then play the recent ones again, and you're gonna see massive differences. What do I mean exactly by movement though? Now it includes normal walking, running, parkour, assassination, and other minor movements. In Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate, you can actually feel that there is some weight on our character. For example, whenever you start running, you're gonna feel the natural acceleration, and when you stop, you're gonna feel deceleration. Same with the parkour. You're gonna see the anticipation and follow through after you do the parkour. And now if you guys don't know what is anticipation and follow through, it is like an animation term, but I'm gonna be using this in this video. So anticipation is when you're about to do, for example, a parkour, your character will take a stance, right? The character will first create momentum for that. Then what he's gonna do is actually do that parkour movement. And whenever you do those movements, even in real life, what happens is that there is some kind of follow through. Now what I mean by this is that you're gonna overshoot a little bit. For example, try jumping out of a speeding car. What's gonna happen is that you're gonna roll, right? So that is what follow through is. It's all physics basically. All of these physics things feel very natural in Assassin's Creed Unity and Syndicate. It just looks sick to me, if I wanna be honest with you. But if you see the recent Assassin's Creed games, these things are not natural looking in my opinion. I do think with Unity and Assassin's Creed Syndicate, there is some sort of input lag as well, but I think it can be fixed if they work on it more. There are actually some mods that are done on Mirage and that made it look really good, though it can sometimes be way too much, as you can see in this specific case. But obviously it's a mod. I expect more from the actual team because they are working with a lot more budget, right? The next thing is better cinematography. To be honest, this thing was a lot better before compared to what it is right now. Watch a cutscene in Assassin's Creed 2 and then compare it with Odyssey or Valhalla or even Mirage, and also see the games of Rockstar games. You're gonna get the idea what I'm talking about. Cinematography has a pretty big role in conveying the story of a game. It has a huge impact on setting the tone and mood. That's why if you play games like Assassin's Creed 2, Black Flag, or any other OG Assassin's Creed game, you're gonna take the game more seriously and it's just more impactful compared to the recent ones. And I'm gonna be talking about a connected point in the last, so just some minutes. The next thing is obviously less bloat. Again, this thing has been growing ever since Origins and Odyssey. There's a lot of filler content in my opinion, in terms of the size of the map as well as the story. Plus the XP progression is a pain in the ass unless you buy the XP boost. You have to upgrade your character a lot, especially if you are about to reach the end of the game. I know it could be fun for some people who like to grind and all, but it just loses the flow of the game because we are not constantly engaging with the story then, right? We are focusing on the other aspect of the game. And I personally think that these things should just go hand in hand. Right now, we are basically playing two separate games, one for the story and one for the level. And the sheer amount of effort you need to put into playing the further part of the story is a lot because of always worrying about leveling up, right? Though I think it's better in Mirage now compared to the RPG ones. I feel like the leveling system in Assassin's Creed Syndicate was a lot better, to be honest. It did not require that much, upgrade and stuff. Obviously you can upgrade your weapons, tools and stuff like that, but it was not necessary a lot of times. Speaking on to the next thing, that is improved AI. I know this thing can be pretty hard and there are only a few games that could pull this off. I hope that this gets improved in the near future as the gaming companies start implementing the new new AI technologies in the games. That is gonna tremendously change how we see gaming today. It's just gonna be more interactive as well as realistic. I know it's a pretty tough task to achieve, but could definitely help the series a lot. I recently played Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the NPCs in this game are pretty dumb. Also, the enemy NPCs will sometimes won't even fight a lot of times, even if they see you clearly standing in front of them. Their response is pretty bad. I think, if I remember correctly, the NPCs before were much better, to be honest. NPCs right now also feel like they are downgraded from before. And the final and the most important thing is better facial animations. This is the number one thing I feel should be prioritized. It is connected with the first and the second things that I mentioned before. The facial animations right now in these newer Assassin's Creed games have been horrible, and I would stand by my word. It's objectively bad compared to other AAA titles that have come recently. Heck, not even recent AAA titles, but even if you compare it with older Assassin's Creed games, it has just downgraded since then. This started in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Origins was the first RPG game, but despite that, it actually had better facial animations. Now to me, Assassin's Creed Unity was probably the king in this one. I think that Assassin's Creed Unity was the only game with better motion capture, and you can see it in the facial expressions in that game. Motion capture was also used in the movements in Assassin's Creed Unity, and you can clearly see how massively it boosts the quality of the game. There's actually a video on YouTube that you can see is the making of Assassin's Creed Unity, and you can clearly see how much effort that has been put in the motion capture of that game, and that shows in the quality of the game. Obviously, though there were some bugs, but that does not mean the motion capture was bad. It was just that there were some things that they needed to work on. To me, the perfect example of the best movements, best cinematography, and best facial animation goes to Assassin's Creed Unity. Even though I'm not a fan of its story, but in these departments, I have to admit, it was flawless. Now, from Odyssey to Mirage, I just cannot fathom how bad the facial animations have become. It just breaks any sort of immersion to me. I'm a big movie guy, and I consider all of these things and analyze what actually makes a game good, and nothing can beat facial animations as well as cinematography. It just completely changes how we view the game and its story. I just cannot take the stories of the recent Assassin's Creed games seriously if the dialogues and conversations are delivered this badly. Why do you think that games like Red Dead Redemption 2 have, such a good story? Because this thing in that game is just done perfectly, That's why it has a huge impact on its story. So this would probably be the number one thing that they should prioritize in the future, but they might have a different plan. They are probably focusing on things we don't want actually, and you know what that is, right? Anyways, I'm not gonna be talking about that, but I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Feel free to like this video if you want, and consider subscribing, man. It helps a lot, guys, because it takes time to produce these videos and edit them and and just make a good final product. So I would definitely appreciate all of that, and feel free to comment down below if you have any suggestions and if you have any video ideas I can make videos on. So I'll see you guys in the next one.